Hello, this presentation is an introduction to the State College Community Land Trust, a shared equity affordable homeownership program in State College, Pennsylvania. This is filmed in June of 2025. My name is Lori Waters, and I'm the Real Estate and Stewardship Coordinator for the Land Trust. The State College Community Land Trust has been in operation since 1996. We'll be celebrating our 30-year anniversary next year. And we arose from the State College Borough Planning Department as a way to expand affordable homeownership opportunities in the borough. A group of local residents formed or explored the Community Land Trust model and gathered a group to eventually form the first board. 2 years later, in 1998, we purchased our first two properties, both for around $90,000. And we have since brought another 53 homes into the program, all located within the State College Borough. We purchase, renovate, and then sell these homes to low and middle income first-time home buyers who would otherwise be priced out of our local housing market. We do this with the goal of creating community and neighborhoods that are inclusive, stable, and healthy places for all to live. We believe that our program not only directly benefits our home buyers, but also benefits our borough neighborhoods who have land trust neighbors living next door or down the street. The idea of community land ownership is not new. It's really existed in various forms around the world for generations. But the modern concept of the community land trust arose in the late 1960s. This has roots in the civil rights movement. An organization called New Communities Incorporated was established in southern Georgia to provide security and economic growth opportunities for African American farmers through this idea of collective community-owned land. Today, there are over 300 community land trusts in the United States and over 600 around the globe. And really, you might be hearing more about community land trusts in the news in recent years as a practical and scalable solution to our national affordable housing crisis. So how does a community land trust work? First, the land trust purchases a home in the borough, and we rehab the home for code compliance, energy efficiency, some cosmetic updates. While this is happening, our applicants are working with HUD certified housing counselors to discuss mortgage and financial readiness and prepare for future home ownership. Once the home rehab is complete, we're ready to sell to one of these applicants who also meets different income guidelines. The buyer ends up getting a mortgage on just the home, and the land trust retains ownership of the land in a long-term lease agreement that extends throughout the entire length of home ownership. By cutting out the cost of the land, this is what's helping to make the price more affordable for our buyers. Typically, it's taking out about 30% from the full appraised value of the property. The homeowners agree to care for their home and the land. They also pay full property taxes on both the home and the land. And additionally, the homes must remain owner occupied. And this is really a great benefit to our borough community that these homes are lived in and cared for throughout the year. They're not sitting vacant, they're not football weekend rentals that are empty for most of the year. As part of their lease agreement, the homeowner also agrees to sell their home to another income qualified buyer if and when they choose to sell their home. We've had some homeowners who have been in their home just for 2 or 3 years before they needed to leave. And we've had others who have now been in their home for over 25 years. So who do we serve? Our applicants are hardworking professionals. It includes teachers, healthcare workers, clergy members, bus drivers, tech professionals, single parents. They have steady, well-paying jobs, but high rent costs in our area can make it really difficult to build savings or pay down the debt that would allow them to pursue homeownership in our local housing market. Really, they've been priced out. We serve folks from many different backgrounds. It could be individuals who are finally ready to dive into homeownership after years of renting. Maybe they never thought that homeownership was attainable for them, particularly on a single income. We also serve a lot of families who are looking to get established in our area and have a safe and secure place to raise their children, close to school, close to their jobs, and close to other activities. We typically are serving low to moderate income households at under 80% of the area median income. This is around $86,500 for a family of 4. These numbers are for 2025. They do tend to shift a little bit year to year. So for context, at 80% area median income, that family of four at $86,500 could potentially afford a home at a maximum of around $250,000. This would have estimated housing costs of around $2,000 per month, which represents 28% of their gross monthly income being spent on their housing. In reality, we find that the comfortable maximum housing costs for our applicants are closer to $1,000 to $1,500 per month. And this is more aligned with a home price of around $150,000. And this really is what tends to be the average sale price for homes in our program. You think of the typical buyer heading to the bank to get approved for a mortgage, and so often those maximum home prices are really beyond what a buyer would actually be comfortable spending. Through our financial counseling process, we can look at every individual budget, other long-term financial goals, debt to pay down, etc. And then we can work backwards to determine the comfortable monthly housing costs for each individual applicant. It's not just a blanket calculation that we're using. We're looking at every individual applicant's needs and financial capabilities. And really, this is a huge benefit of going through a program that you get this tailored financial counseling. More recently, through what we call our middle income program, we have also been able to serve households at slightly higher incomes at 81 up to 120% of the area median income. This is around 130,000 for a family of four. This program is not only filling a gap in the market for this income range, but it's also allowing us to bring in some slightly higher priced homes into the program. And then we're able to also sell them to these higher incomes at slightly higher prices, typically closer to $225,000 up to $275,000, still well below the market rate for homes in our area. When we're preparing an applicant for first-time homeownership, our housing counselors provide both financial and homebuyer education with the goal of setting our buyers up for long-term successful home ownership. Our applicants need to meet income qualifications, but there's a lot of other factors to consider for home affordability, from the moment of sale all the way through years of home ownership. One major benefit of our program is that applicants are not required to have a 20% down payment. Typically, we like to see a 3% down payment as a minimum. And so this would be around $4,500 for a $150,000 home. The buyers also receive closing cost assistance through the State College Borough First-Time Homebuyer Program. Closing costs alone can be $10,000 to $12,000. So not only does it reduce the stress on an applicant to come up with those funds, but it also means that our buyers can preserve some of their often limited savings for future emergency needs, home-related maintenance, or use their savings to help pay down debt. These are all things that are going to benefit them throughout their time as homeowners. Beyond monthly mortgage and escrow costs and other loan payments, we really want to ensure that the homes will be affordable to operate by renovating our homes to improve energy efficiency, which is then going to help reduce energy costs for the homeowners. Ultimately, we're giving our applicants peace of mind that their housing costs will be stable and predictable into the future. That's something that's not often true when they are renting. And because of that stability, we're also helping to ensure that they can handle other financial stresses that might arise. So how do we bring homes into the program? We typically rely on federal funding to acquire and renovate properties, in addition to other state and local funding and grant opportunities. Obviously, right now, there's a lot of uncertainty with federal funding, and really that funding, has been decreasing over the years. And our dollars just don't go as far because the home and rehab prices have continued to go up. Additionally, the borough housing market is tough. Some census data from the last 6 years or so reports that the median value of owner-occupied housing in the borough is over $414,000. Interestingly, as I looked at those values across Pennsylvania, we were 30th in value, and 28 of the other 29 communities ahead of us in value were all located in the Philly suburbs, along the Main Line, the King of Prussia area. That's maybe where people would expect to find those higher home prices. I don't necessarily think that people, expect to see those prices here in central Pennsylvania. So 414,000, that would be affordable to incomes above 108,000 with a 20% down payment. By income alone, as we just saw on that income chart, there could be some applicants in our program who would meet that income level. However, the majority of our applicants do not have a significant down payment, certainly not up to that $82,000 that they would need here to meet that 20% down. So that puts a home like this even further out of reach. And we all know that those home prices are continuing to rise. For the few homes that are more affordable, in that $300,000 to $350,000 range, and by affordable, I mean affordable for us as a program to purchase. Really, it's hard for us to compete with other investors and other buyers. There was a home earlier this year, a single family home, modest size, that was listed for just under $330,000, and it went sale pending in 6 days. It's not always the case that it goes this quickly, but it really continues to be a struggle to compete with offers for homes once they are already on the market. This is really even a shift just within the past few years. We used to think it was crazy to think about spending more than $300,000 on a home. And part of that is just because of the federal guidelines that we're working within. But really now it's hard for us to find and compete with offers for anything under 300,000. So it means we're maybe needing to change some of our funding that we use, and obviously just continuing to look for those affordable opportunities. And also because of that, we're really relying more on existing borough homeowners to sell their home directly to the program. The benefits to those homeowners are that they don't need to list with a realtor. They can also sell the home as is, and they can match appraised value, or we can agree on a fair sales price. Most importantly to these sellers, we as a program are making the commitment to retain these properties for full-time owner occupancy, which is helping then to maintain that stability and vibrancy of our borough neighborhoods. We have acquired 8 of our last 10 properties this way, and we do hope to purchase another 2 properties later this year from homeowners who have reached out to us with interest in our program and our mission. So here are a few properties, examples of homes in our program. Again, we have 55 homes across 7 borough neighborhoods. Really, as you drive throughout the borough, you'll find at least one land trust home tucked in most pockets of the borough. You probably won't even realize that they are land trust homes because they really are just incorporated into the neighborhood. Some land trusts around the country don't have this scattered site model. They might be specifically all located on a specific street or in a specific neighborhood. But we have this scattered site model, which means that there is more community integration and there's also more flexibility and variety of homes that we can acquire. This is then helping us to serve a variety of home buyer needs when we have different household makeups. These are modest homes, typically around 1,200 square feet. They tend to be 3-bed, 1-bath kind of properties. The 3 properties shown here are all ranches, but we have a number of other home styles, a lot of Cape Cods, other 2-story homes, mostly single-family homes, but also a number of duplex properties, such as the brick duplexes that you might find along South Atherton Street. And then we also have a variety of price points that we're able to offer. You'll see the home in the middle there sold for just over $100,000 back in 2020. The home on the left sold for $155,000 back in 2022. And then you'll see the home price on the right. That's actually a property that's currently under renovation here in June of 2025. And that will be part of our middle income program. And so we're able to sell it for a slightly higher price to incomes that will match that home range. We'll be selling this home for $235,000 later this year. So how do we make our homes affordable? This chart shows the 5 home sales that we had last year in 2024. 2 of the properties were resales, which means that existing land trust homeowners were selling their home directly to a new income qualified buyer. We kind of serve as the intermediary for that and help connect the buyer and seller. But essentially those homes are sold as, for sale by owner. They don't need to work with a realtor. The other 3 homes were sold by the land trust after renovation. With the community land trust model, we are selling just the home and the land trust retains ownership of the land. This is reducing the sale price by about 30% of the full appraised value of the land in the house. That's what you'll see on the chart there in blue. So by doing this, by taking out that price of the land, it works out that we're selling the home at a price that tends to fit well with the price our home buyers can afford, no more than 28% of their gross monthly income. Those sale prices for the homes are in the green bars. The homebuyers lease the land for around $25 per month in a long-term lease agreement. And additionally, the buyer agrees to a capped resale price whenever they choose to sell their home in the future. This is at a rate of a 2% increase per year. So for example, to see some of those numbers, the home, house number 5 on the right, that sold for $155,000 in 2024, could sell in 5 years for just over $171,000. That would be a $16,000 gain. House number 2, which is part of our middle income program, this could sell in 5 years for around $229,000. This would be a gain of $22,000. We set this 2% cap to ensure that the homes will remain affordable for future buyers. We often say that our homes are affordable in perpetuity. And this is really one of the things that makes a community land trust unique. We are securing the community investment in the home for the long term. So even if and when our homeowners move forward and potentially, purchase another market rate home, the property and that affordability is not lost. And that means that, future generations of buyers will continue to have affordable homeownership opportunities and opportunities for wealth building. We want our homeowners to gain equity in their home and then be able to carry that forward into the future. And again, you might notice, that the appraised values of these homes are fairly modest. Like I mentioned a few slides ago, these are the same properties that are otherwise really quickly swept up by investors. And if that happens, then the affordability is lost. So when we're able to capture those homes that are a slightly lower price across the borough, we're able to retain that affordability for the long term. So because of this long-term investment in the property, really it's in our best interest and in the best interest of our homes and our homeowners to provide stewardship to both the homes and the homeowners. And because we're serving first-time homeowners, we spend a lot of time educating them in how to care for their home and supporting them through resource sharing and being a go-to source of information. Our homeowners also receive 5 years of post-purchase budget counseling. So there's some built-in accountability and reassurance that there's someone there checking in on you and helping to address any issues before they might become major concerns. This is also our reasoning for developing an emergency repair loan in 2023 to be able to support our homeowners who might have an unexpected furnace repair or a roof leak or tree damage from recent storms with all the rainy weather we've been having. Or there might be another emergency need that they're just not ready to handle in that specific moment. We also focus a lot on that C of the CLT, which is community. We try to create opportunities for community building amongst our homeowners through events like our fall chili cook-off and other event sharing in the broader community, and finding ways for our homeowners to make connections and further establish that sense of security and stability even outside of their homes. Part of this stewardship of the homes begins even before we sell to a new home buyer. Whenever we bring a home into the program, we are inspecting the home for code and safety deficiencies. This could be something like lead-based paint or asbestos. And we also complete a home energy audit to determine ways to improve energy efficiency in the home and positively impact the future energy costs. Particularly in our older borough properties, insulation tends to be a primary way that we can make improvements and improve comfort in the home and help reduce energy needs. That chart on the right is from an energy audit that we had completed on a recent property. You'll see on the chart that the insulation in that home is very minimal, or in some spaces totally non-existent. So that's an easy update that we can make that's going to positively impact the home and impact the future owners. We also look at systems in the home like roofing or electrical, HVAC, and we'll make additional updates not only to benefit the energy efficiency, but also to ensure that there will not be any major unexpected repairs needed once the homeowner has moved in. And we do also make some cosmetic updates whenever funds allow. Outdated bathrooms or kitchens can be really pricey items to update, but it can also make the home more appealing for a future buyer. And sometimes it just makes sense to update the room when we're already opening up a wall for electrical or plumbing, insulation, etc. So as a small nonprofit, we rely heavily on the community and our volunteers to carry out our mission of providing affordable homeownership opportunities. Our board is made up of land trust homeowners, borough appointed members, and others in the community who have found our cause to be meaningful. This tripartite board is a crucial piece of the community land trust puzzle, helping to ensure that we have diverse voices, diverse backgrounds, and different needs reflected in our organization and helping in our decision making every day. We also have various volunteer run committees, and we host volunteer days at our properties throughout the year. Collectively, because of this community effort and commitment, we have been able to support 83 households to achieve their goal of first-time home ownership. Here's our contact information. You can always email us or call us at the number and email listed here. And also, keep up to date on our website or on our social media pages for more information and for updates on the properties that we have currently for sale. Thanks so much.